before we get into some standard, I want to tell you a very quick anecdote that always makes me laugh. I think it's one of my favourite things that happened to me at a GP. I was playing in a modern side event at a GP. I think it was the Prague the first time that I went. It was the first time I've been to GP Prague, and I think it was on the Friday before I played in the main event when it was Legacy, during the period of Eternal Masters being out. Anyway, that's not really that important. I played against a group of different people at the height of when Suicide Zoo, or the artist formerly known as Suicide Zoo, the first iterations of Death Shadow started really becoming popular in Modern, and I played it twice in like a 4 or 5 round event. Both the people I played against on Death Shadow, both of them told me that they were the inventor of the deck. That they popularised it, that they played it, that they made it the deck that it is now. Now the funny thing is, both these people from 2 different European countries. I think one of them was, I can't remember. I think one was French and one was like, I don't know, maybe Polish or something. I can't remember exactly what countries they were from, but they were definitely not from the same country, or the same local store, or the same group of people. And when I asked them where did they popularise it, they mentioned they were on the local scene and a bit on Modo and stuff like that. And basically there was no proof. But it's really funny to have 2 people so confidently, with such like absolute unwavering confidence, tell me that they were the creator of something. Both of them told me this. So they can't both be the creator of it, right? And maybe this is a commentary on how, in Magic the Gathering, multiple people can't have the same idea at once. I often get accused of copying other creators or ripping people off and not giving the right prestige to people who apparently can't have the idea first. Maybe it's that. Or maybe some Magic players are completely full of shit. For that reason, we're about to play Omnath Scute Soup, that I like to call it, or Lotus Cobra's Divine Revenge. Whatever you want to give as a name to this deck. And I'm just going to say, I created it. I have no way of proving that. Many people played it during the pre-release event. During the early access event, I wasn't even playing the Ultimatum, and someone in the chat said, why didn't you play the Ultimatum? And I was like, shit, I forgot that card existed. So there's all these factors coming in to how this deck came about by seeing deck lists online and people complaining about Lotus Cobra and so on and so on. But fuck it. If I could have the confidence of those 2 Magic players in that Modern event back at GP Prague in 2017, I think I'd do a lot better in life. If I could just barefaced stare someone in the face and probably just lie to them, then maybe we'd get on better. Look at the American political system. It's working over there. Anyway, that's the anecdote. Some people are going to hate this. Some people are going to say, why did the intro take so long? Fuck you, if you said that. Let's have a look at this standard deck.
Let's go!
Zendikar Rising is here, War of the Spark has rotated, and people are just as unhappy as they were before. Because, well, there's 2 potential reasons. Well, maybe 3 arguably. First of all, we've got Lotus Cobra, which is one of my favourite cards in all of Magic. Look at that face. How can you be mad at Lotus Cobra? Well, it's because it lets you cast back-to-back Genesis Ultimatums. But that's no reason to be mad. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So Lotus Cobra's arrived, and it can help you cast Genesis Ultimatums, and there are Evolving Wilds, and there are Fable Passages in the format. And they printed a fucking Harrow equivalent into the format. But in addition to that, we've got Scute Swarm, which is just gas. It's like the old Scute Mob, but instead of a mob, it's a swarm. So mob used to get taller to represent the mass of the mob growing. Swarm goes wider. It makes 1/1s, then copies of itself. And once there's copies of itself in play, well, it's like paper magic doesn't exist anymore, because keeping track of it would be a pain in the shit pipe. In addition to all this, Uro still exists, which is nice. We have a lot of spells that are actually lands as well, which is nice. They kept Ugin in the format. By kept, I mean they printed in M21, it's still here. And then we've got Omnath, Locus of Creation, which is the other bizarre card to come out of Zendikar. At first glance, it just seemed very good, but it might just be too good, potentially. Omnath now has white in his mana cost, he's still an elemental, and he's still raging. Although there's no rage in his name. Look how angry he looks in the art. I think he's screaming, but he has no mouth. That's kind of like a commentary on 2020, isn't it? I must scream, but I don't have a fucking mouth. It's like Twitter accounts with only 3 followers. Omnath, in gaining white, gained 2 interesting things that he never really had before. One is you gain 4 life from an ability of his, which is landfall. And land on his battlefield, gain 4 life. Cool. But the other thing is, when he enters the battlefield himself, he draws you a card. Omnath now cantrips. Because that's where we are in 2020. If you want to take a mythic and make it better, just draw a card in it. Imagine if we get a Questing Beast 2 Electric Boogaloo in the Throne of Eldraine, the sequel. A Full Throttle, or whatever it'll be called. And it just says draw a card on it. And it's a 5/4. Cool. Omnath's landfall ability also, after the first land, is gain 4 life. The second land is make 4 mana, red, green, white, and blue. And the third landfall is 4 damage to your opponent. So yeah, we just get a lot of free mana. We just get a lot of free mana when we get to cast Dugans and Genesis Ultimatums. This is my new favourite card in current standard. The big shaft of light coming out of the floor. This elk, I think it is. Maybe it's an elk, who knows? Just being like, what the fuck is going on? That elk there is thinking, this card wasn't even playable last standard. And now look at it. I normally keep any hand with a goose or an Uro in it, honestly. Our opponent leads Windscar Crag tapped, gaining a life. We can play this Triome on turn 2. It's easy to be tapped. A Flourishing Fox! Is this the lowest cycling deck again? Haven't seen this in a hot minute. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to play a Scute Swarm here. We don't want to play Uro before because we want to use Uro to get multiple land drops out of there, whilst the Scute Swarm is on board. Scute Swarm is just this generation's pack rat. There, I said it, okay? I said it! A second Flourishing Fox, some more cycling. I'm not scared of you. I am scared of the big damage burn spell they get, though. That is kind of scary. We untap and draw a Fabled Passage, which is pretty good. We're going to make an Insect here. We're going to play an Uro. We draw another land, but we're going to just play another... Imagine... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I should have played the Pathway. God damn it, because then the next Fabled Passage would have been more Scute Swarms. Fuck! So these insects are expendable. And then next turn, as we play the Pathway and crack our Fabled Passages, we're going to have a shit ton. A metric fuck ton of insects that make more insects. I was a big fan of the original Scute mob, honestly. Our opponent's doing something, but this deck doesn't really give a shit. I was a big fan of the original Scute Swarm in original Zendikar. It's one of those cards that I always wanted to be good, but never end up being that good. It just grew bigger and bigger to represent the Swarm. This thing, on the other hand, although probably a lot more friendly to digital magic, is just so much fun. Probably a problem, probably very unfair, probably not okay to exist in a world where Uro and Lotus Cobra do, but it's still fun. Turns out that sometimes unfair cards can be fun. Where things like Oko and stuff are... Oh, shit! This is the... Fuck, this is the worst day. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to just make some insects and make the best of a bad situation. Just gushing about Scute Swarm and they fucking killed it. What is that about? Just making sure we get the lands that allow us to cast our Genesis Ultimatums shortly. Going to be a rather unexciting turn for us, unfortunately. Going to play a green land and say no attacks and pass back to our opponent. Next turn we get to cast Genesis Ultimatum. Our opponent casts a Valiant Rescuer. Damn it, how dare they play fucking interaction? That's how we lose with this deck, is if people interact with us. We're going to do some chumping of the Flourishing Foxes here. This is where I find out they've randomly got trampled for no apparent reason. That happens with a lot of creatures. Well, mainly green creatures if we're completely honest about it. White creatures don't get cool stuff. Okay, we've got double red, double green, triple blue. So let's cast ourselves a Genesis Ultimatum. If you don't know what Genesis Ultimatum is, it's basically a sorcery speed collected company, but replace all the text on collected company with the words "fuck you, opponent." God, for a moment I thought that blue spell was a counter spell, and I just did a little poo. Genesis Ultimatum I can't even speak. Genesis Ultimatum can whiff. Much like collected company can, it can whiff. But most of the time you just get absolute gas like this. This is pretty good. We're going to make a lot of Scute Swarms right now. So Scute Swarm is back with a vengeance. We hit 2 lands with it as well, so we're going to get more Scute Swarms as these Scute Swarms die. This fight spell is sorcery speed, right? Yeah, it is. Now, we can still lose this because, well, they could have the cycling damage burn spell, and they have... How many cyclers in the bin? A lot. Some number that is big. 8. Just going to make some more swarms off that fetch land. There we go. So that Genesis Ultimatum turned into 10 Scute Swarms, a Gilded Goose, 2 lands, and a food token. It's not terrible, honestly. Drown of Stinger. It's the Pinger. I love the fact it's called Stinger and it rhymes with Pinger. That's so clever. They cycle, which grows their foxes, makes them a 1/1, and pings me for 1. The cycling deck is very cool. 9 cards in graveyard. Pretty much all of them have cycle, right? Like every single one. So they can shoot us for 9 with the Zenith Flare at the moment. They ping us again and grow their foxes some more. They cycle again, growing their foxes and pinging us some more, but they're making no more 1/1s, because Valiant Rescuer only counts for the first cycled card of each turn. Jesus Christ. We could do with getting an Omnath to gain some life, honestly, so that we don't just die to a random Zenith Flare next turn, as they have 12 cycling cards in their graveyard. They're going to attack the 12-12 and the 11-11, I assume. No, they didn't. They didn't attack. Cool. We're not going to cast anything till after the ultimatum. However, I really want the Terror of the Peaks in play before the ultimatum, but there isn't really any way of doing that. If we had a Cobra, perhaps we could facilitate that, but we can't. So we're just going to slam another fuck you opponent. We only hit Omnath and a Ketria Triome this time, but we do draw a card and gain some life. And we're going to make some mana out of that, and a load more Scute Swarms. And we drew a Terror of the Peak. Now, I'm going to play a Fabled Passage here. I'm just going to trigger, and it's going to make the mana from Omnath, and make a load more Scute Swarms, like 36 of them. I'm then going to cast a Terror of the Peak, off the mana from Omnath. I'm then going to crack this Fabled Passage, and hopefully we've got at least one more basic land left. We do. We get a mountain, and we just make 46... Well, Omnath zaps them for 4, which is important. And then I'm just going to make 46 Scute Swarms, which is 46 Terror of the Peak triggers. I started blasting. Bah, bah. I know I say this a lot about a lot of things, but this is basically Splinter Twin. It just cost us, like, I don't know, 16 mana. I mean, 16 mana to win the game isn't that awful. Especially when it also leaves you residually with a load of bodies and stuff. Like, look, my dogs are even excited now. That's either the postman has arrived and they want to fuck them up in a fist fight, or they're just sick of this shit. That didn't feel very fair, did it? My friends. That didn't feel very fair at all. Now again, this hand is a bit slow, but it's got an Uro. And I mean, everyone complains about Uro, right? So you can't lose when you play an Uro. So we're going to start with a tap land. Our opponent plays a Temple of Mystery. Cool. They scry to the bottom and we untap and draw a 5-drop. Cool. We're going to play this other tap land tap, just so we can fix our mana a bit better later, because we might need... Oh, neither of these make white. I'm an idiot. Our opponent casts a Lotus Cobra, so we actually have to pay attention to what they're doing now. I mean, it might be that we... Oh, we drew the land that makes white. I'm so good at this game. It might be that, like, it doesn't matter. They just body us, and there's nothing we can do, because we're not playing Interaction. Interaction's for losers. We're going to Uro. We're going to put the pathway into play. So we've got triple blue and a red. But no, we need double green and a second red. Lotus Cobra makes them a mana. They play Cultivate. Just going to make them another mana. Put a basic land to play tapped and one into their hand. So they're going to have one more mana. I guess they might play a Goose. You got a Swamp and a Forest. They're not Rug. They appear to be Bug. Which, honestly, that puts my mind at ease. I don't think the Bug version is as good. Or at least it doesn't feel that way. This card is insane. This card is actually fucking insane. Unplayable prior to Lotus Cobra's printing. And now, really good. They cling to Dust Art Row, which is a shame. And take us for 2, which is a shame. We drew a Scute Swarm, which isn't terrible. Swarm Pathway for green, because the ultimate ends in our hand. Means you can't cast an Omnath if we draw it. We make a 1-1, not a copy, just a 1-1. The next land will be a copy. So we want to draw like a Fabled Passage, so we can go Terror of the Peaks, Fabled Passage, make 2 or 3, some number of Swarm, and start pinging things, including the Lotus Cobra. Terror of the Peaks is our only removal spell. Our opponent casts an Uro. They put a land into play, they make a black mana. Another Lotus Cobra, that's kind of terrifying. What if they cast a Genesis Ultimatum with 2 Cobras in play? They'll just win on the spot. Lucky for us, they're not playing red for some reason. We're going to go Terror of the Peaks. We're going to go Pathway. This one's going to be on red, because of the Genesis in our hand. We're going to ping off one of the Cobras. And I guess we'll slap him with a 1-1. We won't offer the Scute Swarm trade. Maybe we should have done. I doubt they would ever block with Lotus Cobra. Lotus Cobra might as well say can't block unless you're threatened with lethal. That should be a line of text on Lotus Cobra. Fuck, it's a green card. They could put more text on Lotus Cobra. Why doesn't it have first strike or reach or something? It's like they're not even trying anymore. And for those of you about to comment in the comment section that the card already existed and that's a reprint, I know. Okay? I was casting Lotus Cobras when you were still semen on the tip of your dad's penis. They kill our Terror of the Peaks with this this card here. Cool. I kind of like Roiling Regrowth here, but I also like Terror of the Peaks. This sets us up for the Genesis Ultimatum next turn. So we're going to sack a Pathway, and we're going to grab ourselves 2 Forests. Making a Lotus Scute Swarm. Cool. Then we're just going to slam in. Like, if they block with the Cobra, I think we're okay with that. I mean, killing one of our 6 Scute Swarms doesn't feel like the most favourable trade here. Oh, they do have a Shark Typhoon, though, so they get to draw a card and kill a Scute Swarm. Fair enough. I've noticed the Bug version is playing Shark Typhoon. But again, you could probably just sandwich it in this version. Like, hitting off Genesis Ultimatum seems hot. Or casting Genesis Ultimatum and just getting a 7/7 just seems like extra value. This card gives me an erection. Lotus Cobra makes a mana. A solitary blue pip, if you will. They cast an Uro, this time escaped. Draws them a card and gains them 3 life. On my turn, we draw another Terror of the Peaks, but I'm just going to slam this. Like, they might have counter magic, but we've got a second one to cast afterwards. So, I mean, if they don't have counter magic, we get to, like, yeah, they have counter magic. Sure, that's fine. No attacks. I don't think it's worth getting in for 4 damage to trade one of us, or not even trade, to have one of our Scute mobs squished by an Uro. They gain 3 life and draw a card. We might have to just slam Terror of the Peak and Terror of the Peak here to get around counter magic and cast Gentle Ultimatum when we know we can get through. I'm going to chump here and not take 6. God damn it, more people in Platinum playing Interaction than in Gold. It's frustrating. Oh, fuck. My Scutes. That was, depressing. Let's go Terror of the Peaks. Do they have a counter spell for this as well? No, they don't. They probably have a removal spell. Not going to play the land. I'm going to keep it from we have a Cobra or an Omnath or a Lotus Cobra. I already said that. What's the other one? The mob. If we have a mob, a Cobra, or an Omnath later. They have the removal spell, hence why we didn't see a counter spell. They attack us for 2. We untap, we draw another land, so we can play a land here and play Terror of the Peaks. We kind of want to draw an Uro. That's a good way to get through a load of counter magic and removal, because Uro just trades horribly for your opponent with counter spells and removal. That's why it's funny when we talk about like just play interaction. It's like just play interaction for the Cobra part, sure. Or maybe even the ultimatum part, or even the Omnath part. But Uro's the real problem, honestly, in my opinion, because of the fact that it just doesn't give a shit about what your opponent's doing, because it will always get you a 2 for 1, or a 3 for 1, or a 4 for 1 sometimes. It's crazy. Extinction event on Odd, again, to kill my Twin Peaks Dragon. They now have 4 mana up still, though, and I really don't want to slam this into another counterspell, so I want to draw a threat, preferably an Uro. That is not an Uro. Well, they've got 2 cards in hand. Do they have a counterspell? They have played and sequenced quite well, so there's a good chance they do. They did not. In which case, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Here's an Uro and a Scute swamp. Make a load more Scutes. They might just have another Extinction event in hand, though. That'd be kind of cool. We drew an Omnath. I'm going to put this land into play. Maybe I should play that after the Omnath. I'm not quite sure. Now, I want to escape the Uro next turn, I guess. So we should play the Omnath. I'd have to crack my failed passage to get a green. Shit. Or a blue. Shit. I guess I'll hold some stuff back in case of another Extinction event. Although Extinction event doesn't kill Scute Swamp and Omnath, but I'm going to wait. Like, on end of their turn, we can make another 8 Scute Swamps if we have another basic land in our deck. Which threatens a lot of damage, but not lethal. Our opponent's mana looks a lot neater than ours, right? If only Field of the Dead was still legal. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine just Field of the Dead with this deck? Would that just make you want to cry? Sharknado from our opponent. Okay, they can obviously cast things to make sharks here. But we're going to get in. No blocks. Just take a... Oh, they're going to trade the Cobra in. I'm assuming some sort of Wrath is coming then. Maybe the Cobra's outlived its usefulness. Who knows? We're going to cast an Uro here. We're casting it post-combat. Because, well, we would have made another Scute off the land if we drew one. If they countered it with the counter spell, they would have had a 3/3 shark. Because at the moment, we only have 7+6. We only have 13 damage on board. I guess we do crack the failed passage in the end step. 100%. They cycle a Triome before untapping. 3 cards in hand. We've already seen 2 Extinction events. I'm assuming they play 4. On the upside, if they choose Odd here with Extinction event, we get to still keep our Cobra. So that's nice. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Well, that definitely ticks down by 3. Makes them an 8/8 shark. Shit. Well, we can kill it with Omnath. No, we can't kill it with Omnath. Omnath doesn't do that. Ugin's a problem. Maybe we'll draw Ugin. Maybe we'll draw another ultimatum. Who knows? X equals 3. Okay. We lose our board. And their shark on the upside. Let's play an Omnath. It says draw a card in it for reasons that no one understands or knows. Let's go fail passage. Gain 4 life. Let's go Uro. Let's draw an Ugin. Let's put a land into the battlefield. Let's trigger Omnath. Let's play an Ugin. Let's tick up Ugin and shoot their Ugin. And then let's see how many basic lands we have left. If we have a green or a blue basic land in here, we can cast our Uro. Shit. Shit it. Oh well, this 4s them, doesn't it? There we go. Oh, what the fuck? 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker that you don't control. That's fucking insane. Why does it have that text on it? What the fuck? I didn't know how the Planeswalker text. That's mad. I don't understand. I don't understand how this... this amount of text was ever okay. I guess it's got green and blue in it, so that excuses it. Teferi, Time Master, sure. This can then exile my Omnath for a... Once they do that, I can then exile their Teferi. On my turn, we draw a Ketria Triome, which you're going to play. Do they exile my Omnath now or later? Ah, clever. I wanted them to do it now so I could take down my Ugin. Not exile, sorry. Phase out, should I say. Activate this. Do they let it go? Or do they phase out Omnath prior to me getting the mana? Yeah, there we go. Baited. We're going to down tick by 6 here, just to get rid of their entire board. That's Teferi, a Shark Typhoon, and a Shark. Omnath stays, though, because it's not technically there. It's phased out. It's not exiled, because you couldn't Rift Sweeper it. There's a blast from the past, my friends. They can cast Sylvantress now, but we're going to cast a... Wait, they're doing it before... Wait, why are we in my end step? Oh, we've got to stop in my end step. This shouldn't be in my end step. We should be in my main phase. We are in my main phase. God, I panicked then. Oh, shit. I didn't have enough in the bin to cast Uro. Shit on it. I guess I could have gone real ham and down-ticked my Ugin to get rid of it to cast Uro, but I think Ugin's just better. They're going to Cling to Dust my Fabled Passage to draw a card. They could have got my Uro, but they needed to draw the... They're going to cast Sylvantress again. They're digging. They're digging. Hard. Okay, they pass back to us. We draw a Cobra. We're going to bolt them. They can cast this a few times to gain some life and pad themselves out, to be fair. Pass the turn. I'm not going to cast anything else out here. We've got an Ugin and an Omnath for them to deal with, and I don't think there is a planar cleansing equivalent that kills both Planeswalkers and creatures. But to be honest, I don't notice when things say and target Planeswalker. I should, but I don't. So maybe Extinction Event reads and Planeswalkers. I could check. Let's check. Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so they can't just get Omnath and Ugin with one sweeper that I know of in the bug. In blue, black, green. They scry 2 again. 2 to the bottom. That was in their upkeep. They go to draw step and they draw. That's right. You should always be scrying in your upkeep if you can. Top tips with PleasantKenobi. They play the best looking island in the set. Look at that island. It's beautiful. We draw an Omnath. So they're dead on board. Let's bolt their face. I assume they have a removal spell here. We're going to go to combat and we're going to attack for 4. They're going to crack a Fabled Passage and cling to dust to survive. Yeah, that's the plan. And I guess we want to draw... I don't know what we want to draw. What can ping them? Multiple lands, but we don't have... I don't think we have any basic stuff in our deck. Are they going to Shark Typhoon to block the Omnath? Upsetting, but that does turn on our Uro? No, it doesn't, because of the Cling to Dust. God damn it. Play an Omnath. Draw a card. Play a Goose to block the Shark. A Cobra, because it's now a lethal threat. Oh yeah. Well, it will be a lethal threat in conjunction with Ugin. Obviously, the Cling to Dust makes the Cobra itself not a lethal threat. But if any of these things die, which the Goose will do this turn, we get... Oh, they can phase out my Goose, but then Ugin still survives. It's pretty crazy. Draw a card, discard a card from our opponent with the Teferi. They discarded a Fabled Passage. And they play their own Cobra as a blocker. They can't really attack the Ugin. Well, they kind of have to, but they can't. But they kind of have to, but they can't. They need blockers. Oh boy, they did it. Puts one more thing in our graveyard. Getting closer and closer to casting this bloody Uro. We untap. And we're gonna... If we attack, they phase out the Omnath. They block the Cobra and they survive. Then they can gain life in response to the Ugin. Let's give it a shot. Let's attack. If they kill the Lotus Cobra in combat, we get to cast an Uro, which might change then what we have post-combat. I mean, I don't play much removal, but I guess a thingy of the peaks, the dragon. Have we seen any of those dragons? We've seen one Twin Peaks dragon this game. So opponent has to cling my Uro. Ah, there we go. Okay, so they gain 3 life, right? Yeah. I could have bolted their Cobra, I guess. They block the 4/4 and go to 3? That doesn't seem right. Oh, they can cast Cling one more time. God damn it, that Cling is keeping them in the game. They're going to phase out my Cobra, block the 4/4, lose their Cobra. Wait a minute, they can't Cling again. They only have 4 cards in their library graveyard right now. Do I bolt the Teferi? It enables the Cling. Do I bolt their face? I bolt the Teferi. It enables the Cling by drawing and discarding, whether I kill it or not. We'll play another pseudo-lethal threat, he says, alongside the Ugin as our opponent claws. They cling onto life. This has been a pretty cool game. I mean, would I think it was cool if I was in their seat? Like on the back foot? Yeah, probably. Magic with like back and forth is fun. They're also probably dead to any ultimatum off the top. But we do have 2... Oh, we have seen lots of... Fuck, I forgot we have seen lots of Terror of the Peaks this game. Because this game has gone on forever. I thought it was a different game. I'm losing track of time. You have 5 cards in the bin right now. Which means they cannot use Cling to Dust. They need 1 more card in their yard. They could have a cyclable card here. Or just a removal spell in general. They're also facing down an Ugin ultimate. They are between a rock and a place filled with human excrement. And I guess actually no, you choose the rock over that. That's not really a... Yeah, that wasn't the best example of a difficult choice. Let's go to combat. Oh, I should have bolted them before, because now they can Cling. Oh my god, I'm bad at this game. Oh my god, I am bad at this game. Let's cast a Scute Swarm. If I'd done it before combat, that would have been lethal. But now I did it after combat, they can fucking Cling again. Jesus fucking H Christ. Okay. Let's just down tick Ugin. Which I should have done a million years ago to get rid of the shark. That was probably the correct thing to do 4 turns ago. They probably would be dead. Look, I didn't say when you come here, you get the most efficient play, right? You just get the banter. I'm the Archbishop of Banterbury. I'm not known for being good. I'm not being known for being anything. Maybe my entire life is a fucking facade. I like these hedgerows poking out of the ground. It'd make for good Warhammer terrain. Yeah, I mentioned it. Fuck you. Our opponent is thinking on what to use their Cling on. No, they're Castle Vandrassing now. They're going to Cling later. God fucking damn it. I should have exiled that shark a million turns ago. You can't kick yourself for your mistakes forever, though. Sometimes you just got to go, I'm a piece of human trash, and then move on. They drew a card. They played an Ashiok. Interesting. They're going to go for a blocker? Oh, they can return a permanent. Oh my god. It's all coming undone. I am fucking sad now. Can we just draw another ultimatum to end this? I feel like it's been a very fun game, but I feel like I've let it go and we're going to lose. An Uro is not the worst. Although they can Cling it. That's the problem. But it will draw us a card. It will draw us a card. We only have 21 cards left in our library. Fun fact, they won't be able to get rid of this. Oh no, they will if the triggers go on the stack that way around. Okay, no, we're good, we're good. They won't be able to get rid of this now. I get to cast it before they can eat it with the Cling. Because we get priority. And it comes. We're going to get rid of all this shit. Just cast another Uro and draw another card and gain some life. Maybe we can claw this fucking... this win back from the jaws of punting. There are no punts. They're all just happy little accidents, right? That's... what people have always told me. They're going to eat that Lotus Cobra and go to 6. Uro resolves fighting a Cobra. But they're just going to cast an Omnath. Like, what's the... Am I overextending? No, you're overextending. But they have nothing in their graveyard apart from one single copy of Cling. I'm going to draw a card off the Omnath. We drew a Roiling Regrowth, but I'm pretty sure we don't have any basic lands left. I'll cast it in their turn and we'll find out. Let's kill the Ashiok and slap them for 1. Did I miss lethal? No, I don't think I have any basics left. That's the problem. I didn't miss lethal. If we had basic lands left, then we could have lethaled them. 1 top, 1 bottom. They've got one of the cards they need. Both Extinction Event only kills either Scute Swamp and Uro, or Omnath and Lotus Cobra. Gone 1 top, 1 bottom again. God, I've gone from confident to feeling like I can't do it. This is the most emotional rollercoaster of a punting game I've ever had, I think. God fucking damn. How do you use an Ugin correctly? I won, but I didn't deserve it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.